verses 16 to 20. The 5 verses 20 to 24, is about emotional appeal to action. 4 to 19 is an intellectual appeal for action. Intellectual appeal means the importance of action through knowledge and understanding. You have to do, you can't be without action. Action is the insignia of life. Even the maintenance of the body would not be possible by inaction. Therefore get into action. And what kind of action? Obligatory action. And what is obligatory action? Yajna karma is obligatory action, and whoever does it attains the highest. I am summarizing the intellectual appeal for action. So now all that didn't make any, do that which you ought to do. The man goes back saying, I am already doing that. I am already doing that which I ought to do. So intellectual appeal for action wasn't that effective. Now he takes a different approach. Emotional appeal for action. 6 emotions he uses. That's what he says. 6 emotions he uses to drive him to action. For an intellectual person, these emotional appeals will have no meaning. People try these emotional appeals with children. Emotional appeals will work with old age people. Old people only can emotionally appeal. You don't go and give intellectual discourse to old age people. That is why for old age people, bhajans, dancing, pilgrimage tours and all will appeal. Knowledge will not appeal. Why knowledge will not appeal? Because they already know. Because since they already know, knowledge will not. I am not criticizing. I am only asking you to see what is happening around, so you understand this. It has got It has got nothing to do with anyone in particular. How the mind itself works. So, in intellectual appeal, knowledge and understanding. Emotional appeal, predominantly emotional appeal works. In fact, most of the time it's only emotional appeal that works. For an intellectual type, emotional appeal will not work. Now you are null pandinda. Why can't you do? They will turn back and say, you did, it's your problem. Why should I do? You follow? And an emotional appeal is a distinct approach from an intellectual appeal. If we had spent 19 verses on emotional appeal and 6 verses on intellectual appeal, that would have started straight away. 600 or 700 verses of Gita alone we would not have got. Because you can incite a man into action very quickly through an emotional appeal. Therefore, what he does, he doesn't dwell so deep into emotional appeal. For most of the time, what works is the emotional appeal. Why it works? Because the vast majority of human beings, when I say vast majority of human beings, even in your lifetime, the vast majority of the time you spend being emotional. You don't spend a predominant portion of your time being an intellectual, being an intellect. Intelligence everyone has. That is at least that distinction we understand in this classroom. Just because a man has, just because a person has intelligence, doesn't mean he is fit for intellectual appeal, for action. He will understand and start doing things. It doesn't work like that. For predominantly a human being is emotional. Emotions come from the root word motion. Etymologically, emotions has the root in the word motion. Motion means movement. Movement means change. So emotions by nature is that which keeps changing. You can't have only a single emotion. It's not possible. But I only have love, sir, to a very selective few. Outside the circle, what happens? You may love your family, or you may love yourself, or you may love human beings, or you may love other species, but you can never love everyone. If you are loving other species, now you can't love human beings, because they are the villains, no? How can you love them? And if you love this, you can't love the other. Therefore, when it is directed to one, it will be something else in relation to the other. Or you will follow. Love has built-in hatred in it, outside that circle. It's built-in. You can't do anything about it. And if you go on expanding, what they call as universal, love. How can you love Rama and Ravana at the same time? That's what universal love is. What does universal love means? You have to love Rama and you have to love Ravana too. You really don't know what he. See, beyond the point, even though it looks like a very nice phrase, to an emotional people this will appeal. You follow? That's why all these appeals to the emotional. And predominantly the human beings are emotional. When they are not designed to be that emotional. When they are not, a human being should not naturally be that emotional. Because change implies disturbance. Change implies disturbance. Change implies losing equanimity. That is why we ask for changeless state. Change implies disturbance. Change necessarily brings disturbances with it. It has to bring in some disturbance. You follow what I am saying? Therefore, what is this emotional appeal? First thing about emotion is, it keeps, by nature it keeps changing. It has to change. You walk in happily, praying to God that, God, I am going in with a very happy mood, and dal mattum varaama irukonu. Thank God, I should not see that person. And first one that comes is by the divine law, he says, only that man comes in first. That's it. The whole thing is, what is the disturbance of emotion? Emotions makes you vulnerable. Emotions makes you vulnerable. Vulnerable person will be exploited. You can't say I will be vulnerable, but people around me should not exploit. Again I repeat, emotions makes you vulnerable. Naturally what flows when you are vulnerable? You will be exploited. You can't blame anyone for that. You can't blame anyone for that. You can't do anything about it. Why? Because you are vulnerable. Emotions makes you vulnerable. Since predominantly the human being is emotional, he or she is vulnerable. That's all the time. Vulnerability is your mental state is decided by the other. That is what vulnerability is all about. What is vulnerability means? You are vulnerable, no, not materially, not physically, not sexually. What does vulnerability means? Vulnerability means your mental state is decided by the other. If the other is healthy, you are happy. If the other is unhealthy, you are unhappy. The child falls sick, the mother is unhappy. Child is healthy, the mother is happy. PTA meeting, unhappy. Happiness for children it is. Happiness it is happiness for children. Yesterday I went for the PTA meeting. I can't get out of that still. I have to go. So I say compulsorily father also has to come and sign. Normally mother sign is enough. One person sign is more than enough, and it is always better that the mother goes. No, why father go unnecessarily and double attack? Father also has to come and sign. So I told them, okay, you all go at 10 o'clock itself, and by the time I will come, it will be 11:45. You just sign and go. 10 to 11. Where it will end at 10 to 11? Till 1:30 also it wasn't getting over. father this side, mother this side, teacher that side, and the child is standing, not laughing at all the three. The child laughing at all the three, and all the three looking at the child and crying. This is the last 4 months. 12th exams are coming. Last 4 months, no? After when you are coming back in the car, ஆரம்பத்தில் என்ன சொன்னாங்க? Only 1 year. 2 months later, only 10. Last 10 months. Count on money it is. And no one is actually bothered. And the teacher is saying, I am laughing and I have to control my laughter. And when I look at her, she starts laughing, I start laughing. And obviously mother has to get irritated at and both. And teacher doesn't know why we are laughing. And I am alive. And the teacher says, everything is all right to go. That is vulnerable. This is what vulnerability is all about. It's not concern. It is not concern. It is vulnerable. Concern should give you the strength to handle. Concern should not make you incapacitated to act. Concern must give you strength to handle. Then only it is there. You follow? We have, in my family, we have one fellow, tall, 6 feet he is. 6 feet tall, 85 kilos weighing, and look at him, he looks like he will. Look at him, he can manage everyone. He appears to be like that. Sometime back, she was when my daughter got this dengue fever and she has to be in the hospital for more than 2 weeks. One day, the mother was also not able to go, the sister was also not there, I was also going late. So we asked the nephew to be there for the 2 hours, 2.5 hours, you be there, I'll quickly come. More useless class. Where do you go? From one class, I'm going straight. Went there. The patient is wide awake. This man is sleeping. I asked him, he fainted. Why? You see, they came to draw blood. For some blood test, they came to draw blood. You send a person for what? Hoping that the person will be of some strength, no? For blood test, the blood is drawn and he fainted. Now the doctor has to attend to emotions makes you vulnerable. You may agree, you may not agree. The vast majority will not be able to agree with this. Because opposite of emotion, we understand it as only indifference. Since we always compare emotion to the state of indifference, we always say being emotional is much better. We don't understand the third possibility at all. Here this knowledge is bringing in the third possibility. You follow what I am saying? The world is predominantly emotional. A human being is predominantly emotional, and when you tell him, don't be that, when you tell him, don't be that emotional, don't be so emotional. They understand the emotional opposite of not being emotional is, because the human mind has experienced only these two. It has not experienced what is known as the right emotion. The right emotion always has less expression. The right emotion always has less expression. Emotion is there, but expressions are less. It has to be less, because you can't drown the other with. That's what we are doing today. We drown the other, and we want the other also to drown us. You drown the other with emotion, and the other also, we expect the other also to drown us with that emotion. For the opposite of emotion, we only understand it as indifference. You follow? In the emotional appeal for action, you need to understand the basic thing about what emotion is. What is emotion? By nature it keeps changing, and every change brings a disturbance, a pain with it. Emotion means vulnerability. Vulnerability means exploitation. That's what is happening. They are so emotional, and when you are emotional, you will be exploited. So foolish to go and ask the other, I am vulnerable, but don't exploit me. That's what people are doing. I am vulnerable, but you should be strong enough and not exploit me. What is the nature of life? When you are emotional, when you are vulnerable, you will be exploited. You follow? This is one side of emotion. The other side of emotion also you have to understand. 5 more minutes I will talk like this. It looks like emotions are only negativity. There is nothing positive at all in emotion. Emotion is the driving force. Emotion drives. Emotion brings that enthusiasm. Emotion brings that energy. But what happens is, when it is not guided, when it is not directed, when it is not allowed to, when the expressions are not monitored, then it gets into a problem. Emotions have to be. Emotions, expressions. See, there are 2 parallel kinds of thought. One way of thinking says, if you have emotion, you should express it. Express. How can you not express? Another way of thinking, more the Oriental way of thinking, not anymore. Nowadays there is no such thing called Oriental way of thinking at all. There is only one way of thinking. That is, never. No thinking. There is only one way. What? American way. Express. And more you have to. Another way, the Oriental way is, expressions have an element of vulgarity to it. So don't have it, but don't express. One side says express. If you don't express, it means you don't. If you don't express, it means you don't have it. So, express. The moment you express, carefully follow. The moment you express, you become quickly dry of it. Because whatever you have just expressed it, and you become dry. You become dry very soon. That's why here they know what the human mind here is. Based on this understanding of what the human mind is, they evolved certain principles. What happens in expressions? It gets dried up. It gets dried up very soon. That's where they always start with all relationships starts with very high level of expressions and very soon ending up in no emotion. They say, oh, what happened, sir? No. Previously used to be so affectionate. Now no more. In your case also it will happen. Where you are so emotional over a period of time, you can't be that. Why? Emotions expressed dries up very soon. When it dries up, where will you end up? Where will you land? You will not land in wisdom. You will not land in conviction. You will land in indifference. Again I repeat. When it is expressed, it will dry up very soon. When it dries up, where will you land? You will land in indifference. Very difficult is to understand what is this emotion, and very difficult is to know how to handle it also. First is to understand what it is. Therefore what they did, have it and don't express. Have it as much as you can, but don't express it. But that will be hypocritical, no sir. But when you have it, shouldn't you express? What is the use of having it? It's like saying, if you have money, you should spend it. What is the use of having it if you don't spend it? Correct? What will happen very soon? Very soon you will become bankrupt. Same thing happens at the emotional level. You follow what I am saying? For we do not know how to supplement the reservoir. We do not know how to. When we express it, it's getting dried up. The fresh rains doesn't come. Madras rain, Madras. Once in a while it will come and it will flood the whole thing, and then next 4 years, dried up completely. You follow? Expressions has an element of impulsiveness to it. Anything impulsive is vulgar. Emotions are not vulgar. Please understand. It is the expression that is vulgar. For expression always has இன்னொரு half an hour எல்லாரும் எந்திரிச்சு வெளியே போயிடுவாங்க. அவ்வளவு ஃபுல் இருக்கு. அப்பலேருந்து வை சோ மச் ஆஃப் மூவ்மெண்ட்ஸ் நல்லா என் மண்டையில ஃபோக்கஸ் ஆகுது. கோல்ட் எல்லாம் you are all focusing on my head. Switch it off. Fan எல்லாம் ஆஃப் பண்ணி விட்டுருங்க. Emotions are not vulgar. It is the expressions. Because expressions has an element of impulsiveness in it. The second thing you need to understand about expressions is, expression has an element of impulse. Impulsivities. the sight of the other triggers something, and you just, what do? You just pour out, and when you pour out, it is so suffocating to the others. Because who wants it? No one. No. Everyone who wants your outpour of emotion. You follow? Emotions, the expressions has an element of something. Expressions has an element of impulsiveness to it. There are some people, when they see children, they hug the children in such a way the bones get crushed, The bones get crushed and the child is screaming with pain, and still they will not leave. And they think, they get more excited and they go on doing it. Next time, even when the other person starts walking in, the child starts running away or start crying. It suffocates it suffocates the other. It suffocates the other. It dries you up inside. Emotion, expression has an element of expectation. Wanting the other to recognize your emotion. The third thing. Expression has an element of expectation. What is that expectation? The other must recognize it. I don't want anything in return from them, sir. At least they should recognize that I am loving. No. The other person will turn and say, who asked for it? I don't want it. Intellect have the ability to accept rejection. Emotion cannot take rejection. It's suicidal. Emotion cannot take rejection. We have to be liberal. Everyone has their own views. Everyone is entitled to their own. All that is very nice to hear and give a discourse to others. Yeah. But when you have an emotion and when that emotion is rejected, it is excruciating pain, torture. So what happens? The man will go into a shell. From this extreme of expression and having experienced bitterness, go into a shell. Before you understand the emotional, why I am talking so much is, all this is very, very, very boring to talk. Emotions alone, you don't, all this is elementary kindergarten stuff it is, to talk about the emotions and all. We should be talking about yajna karma, we should be talking about maya, we should be talking about those principles, not these things. But in this context of emotional appeal, might as well, because very rarely he gives you a chance to discuss about emotions. Very rarely he gives you a chance. Whenever he gives a chance, we try to explore that side of the human nature also. You follow? Emotions has an element of disappointment with it, because the expressions, once it is, when the expressions are rejected, when the expressions are not wanted, because emotions has an element of expectation. I am giving love, take it or leave it, it's your problem. You can never say that. I am giving my advice, take it or leave it, you can say that. You follow the difference? Are you able to follow? Predominantly, see, advice is much, much deeper than that. And when someone is rejecting your advice, that should cause More pain, no, but that will not cause any pain, because you yourself are not convinced about the advice that you give. You yourself is not convinced. Therefore, even in the other says, it's okay, sir. Everyone has their own. Okay. Similarly, everyone can love also. No, that is not allowed. That is not allowed. That is not accepted. You follow? Emotions has the expression has an element of nalamu varsa list out pannine vara nanu memory therla. I don't have any notes in front. No memory lane. I am just talking. There is an element of expectation to it, and expectations obviously has to lead to disappointment. So you will always find an emotional person getting easily disillusioned, easily disappointed, because they are so vulnerable. From every angle, looks like asking for trouble. The other extreme is be indifferent. It is sir. Everything to go and sit in, run away. So that you have problem. Yeah. You will go to some place and develop affinity with the lizard there, develop an affinity with the snake there, and same problem will continue. Emotions creates the need for the other. Because you need someone to pour. No. Wisdom is self-sufficiency. You have it and that's it. You will understand the difference. So much he spoke about self-sufficiency. Wisdom is self-sufficient. You have it and you are just, and that's it. Emotion needs the other. If the other is not there, it will go to a stone. If the stone is not there, it will go to something else. If nothing is there, the man will imagine a person and start pouring the emotion towards that imaginary. But nevertheless, emotion creates the need for the other. I will follow. Emotion always creates the need for the. When the need for the other is there, the other is the boss and you have become the slave. You follow? Accept me that I am your boss. Now, do you know who's the actual boss? Who's the actual boss here? Supposing I come to you and say, Vijay, you must accept that I am your teacher. Now, who's the actual teacher there? You follow? It creates the need for the other. Wherever the need is created, you become dependent. Dependency is slavery. So that's where, beyond the point, a human being is a victim of that emotion, not knowing how to get out of this cycle. And when he gives a wonderful formula how to get out, we will not. He gives a wonderful formula how to get out. That we will not agree. So we want a solution in the realm of emotions only. We want a solution in the realm of feelings and emotions only. We don't want a solution outside that realm. Wisdom and all doesn't seem to solve the problem. You follow? Emotional appeal for action. This is the very broad. I'm not going into the minute details of it. This is the very broad understanding you need to have when it is concerning emotions. Emotions has an element of impulsiveness to it. Take the simple example. Gratitude at first sight. Does it ever happen? You see a person and you immediately start feeling gratitude. Does it ever happen? Gratitude at first sight. What happens at first sight? What happens? They say no. Love at first sight. Does surrender happen at first sight? Does gratitude happen at first sight? Does anything valuable happen at first sight? It cannot happen. For it takes that much of pathos, that much of hard work to build it. You follow? Anything that is happening at first sight is impulsive. Correct. Impulsive. Impulsive it is. Impulsive means very soon it will change. Impulsive means very soon it will change. When I say very soon means that very soon can be 20 years later also. The very soon can be 40 years. Can be 40 years later also. After a period of time, couples will not talk to each other. No, they start talking to each other. Thursday, that old couple were telling, morning he gets up and does his work, I will do my work. I said, then what do you, எப்பதான் பேசுறீங்க? I know the story, no? Just to, you also want some gossips of life, no? Otherwise what do we do? Entertainment. Movies is not so entertaining anymore. So real entertainment is what? I said, then what will you do, ma? How will you manage? We start talking, sir. 5th minute it will end up in a fight. I said, this is old age or new couple, there is a problem. I said, anyone starts talking, it has to necessarily end up in fight. So what is the best way? Correct. All problems are solved. It just bottles up inside, that's all. It just bottles up inside, and like the pressure cooker, like the volcanic eruption, the pressure is building inside, the volcanic eruption just comes out, and where it will come in the most insignificant area, it will outburst. That's why the other will make a joke out of it. And you will get more irritated. Because it is not that incident. It's just a bottled up thing will make the outburst happen at the most insignificant thing it will happen. And the other will catch hold of that and they will talk. Now you will get more. Yeah. இந்த மாதிரி கிளாஸ் நல்லா இருக்குது சார். இல்லையா? இவ்வளோ நேரம் பகவத்கீதா, யஜ்ஞ கர்மா, இவ்வளோ ரியாக்ஷன் பார்த்ததே இல்லை. Beyond the point of yajna karma, obligation, do that which you ought to do, no response. Idhukku no avlo response. Maathilam. 5 வருஷம் ஒரே வாட்டி படிச்சிருக்கோம். Class should not become that entertaining. No, you should be a bore தான் அடிக்கணும் class now. You follow? Why? Expressions. You bottle it up, and it will express in the most, the outburst will happen in the most insignificant thing. That's where the other will come out and say, why he got so angry for that thing? Say, Illama, it is not for that thing. It is not, it has been bottling up for so long. Oh, அப்படின்னா அவ்வளோ நாளா நடிச்சிருக்கிறாரா? அப்படின்னா அவ்வளோ நாள் he has been acting, huh? Oh God, beyond the point, you cannot. You will, why did you even open your mouth? Correct, Mara. You have one choice. Cut that fellow off your life and be free. Will freedom come? No. You will go to? Freedom will not come. For the emotion creating the need for the other, you will go and find, it will find something else. Self-sufficiency goes. You follow? Emotions. Something which is so subtle, if you don't know how to handle it burns you up. If you don't know how to handle it burns you up. And very few knows how to handle it. Lastly, emotions brings about an inconsistency in your action. You can never be consistent. You can never be consistent. Emotions brings about an inconsistency. That's where you find if a person is not changing the job, when I say changing the job, not from one company to another company, going from an engineer to being a farmer, they are not changing. That is only because of the loans that they have to repay. If the loan thing is not there, so better take. He will shoot me first. Oh, poor man, he's been spending his whole life. Don't take. The way I am talking looks like that's a better way of doing. You follow? It wants the change. It necessarily needs a change, variety. Because emotions cannot make you consistent. It is the conviction that keeps the consistency going, which is the quality of the intellect, the wisdom it is. You follow what I am saying? It is inconsistent. You feel like doing it today, next 3 days you will not feel like doing what? Stop it. And then 4th day again you will start. You do, you are irritated by doing. You don't do, you feel guilty. Correct? Emotions create that chaos. If you do, you are irritated doing. Okay, so irritated doing. No, why don't you simply stop now? 3rd day you will start feeling guilty, and that creates another kind of trap. You will start whipping yourself, and unnecessarily you will go and say sorry also, and the other person will put you down for that sorry, and you feel so irritated. Why did I even go and say sorry now? Yeah. It's a real entertainment for the other, not for the person who is going through that. It's a torture for the other who is going through this emotions. You follow? Makes you inconsistent. Start with all enthusiasm, 3rd day, 5th day, 10th day, the whole thing stops. You follow? Very soon it stops. The man buys the car, the first 3 months, how careful he is with the car. 4th month, that is what is inconsistency. He can't be consistency. The consistency means this. You take up an action and go on and on and on till you die. You don't stop. Emotions will come and say, "Dilam panine irunda." Do not. So once in a while you need a change. Once in a while you need a break. Have you ever noticed discipline in the beginning has a monotony to it? Discipline in the beginning always has a kind of monotony to it. Indiscipline looks like variety and enthusiastic, joyful. Again I repeat, discipline has an element of, discipline means consistency. I am using very ordinary language. Discipline means, what is consistency? In a very, very common sense way, it is discipline. And discipline always has a monotony in the beginning. 6 days of discipline, 1 day of indiscipline, just to bring in the energy so that you can be disciplined for the next 6 days. So even to God, even to temple, the same temple is boring. New temple is interesting. That's why whether here, even in emotions, God, Bhakti, they said, that's why the concept of Kula Daivata is there. Whether you like it or not, you have to pray. You follow? Even to God, you need to go to various gods. The same temple becomes boring after a point. First day you go, very inspiring. Second day you go to the same temple, inspiration is 50% less. Actually speaking, it should be the same, no, at least. If it doesn't increase, at least it should be the same, but it doesn't. It decreases. Fifth time you go to the temple, what will happen? Fifth time you go, you will start seeing all the negativity is there. First time you go, you don't see all that, for you are so inspired by the deity. Third time, fifth time you go, you will start seeing. It means what? The moment you have started to see the negativity, your emotions have taken over and you have started relating from a wrong end. But I see the negativity but not affected by it, sir. Don't dupe yourself. If you see the negativity, you will be affected, you will be irritated. Unintelligent association brings about that. Shakespeare says, no, familiarity breeds contempt. When you get too familiar, that's why always maintain the opposite ways, maintain a distance. Maintain what he calls as elbow room, no? Fantastic word that is. He says, always maintain an elbow room. The Polonius advice in Hamlet, the Polonius gives advice to his son. Be thou familiar, but by no means vulgar. It is, be thou familiar, but by no means vulgar. Emotions will make you get so close, it becomes, you follow? Be thou familiar, but by no means vulgar. Means get close and don't get too close. Maintain a distance. Before you enter into a relationship, you should understand that there has to be a distance. Any relationship, there has to be a distance. And the distance protects you. Protects you from what? And the distance protects you from what? Protects you from? Contempt.
Not getting affected.
Never?
Not getting affected.
Not getting affected. The distance protects you from suffocation. Vedanta is very simple. You give the answer first and then question will be asked. Answers are given and then the question is asked. The distance protects you from what? Protects you from seeing the negativity in the other. When you start seeing the negativity in the other, you are encroaching into a territory over which you have no jurisdiction. You have no right. It is that person's problem. You have no right to enter into that. Distance protects you. Protects you from what? Not from the other. Anyway, the other doesn't do anything to you. It's your own. It's your own making. Are you able to follow? What it does is, it protects you from the negativity from seeing the negativity. Remember that quote, Maurice Maeterlinck's? Who remembers that quote? Maurice Maeterlinck's. Start பண்ணி விட்டா you will know. இல்லையா பேர சொன்ன? Maurice Maeterlinck's. Happy and இதுக்கு பேர் தான் பை ஹார்ட்னு அர்த்தம். Child, children when they when they have to read a speech, they will forget. Starting trouble. First word எடுத்து கொடுத்தா டகா it will come. No. That's why Maurice Maeterlinck's தெரியல. Happy உடனே happy and blessed are is when wickedness stands forth revealed. பாதியில மறந்து போச்சுன்னா again in the by heart the tables and they repeat, 8th they will get stuck. 2 into 8 again start 2 1 2 again it will come. No, இந்த மாதிரி ஆயிப்போச்சு. Happy and blessed are when wickedness stands forth revealed as goodness bereft of a guide. The distance makes you to understand. Emotions will not allow you to maintain the distance. Emotion says go. Emotion will drive you and say get close, get close, get close. Emotions drives you that, and helplessly you will be getting close. It repels. It repels. It is repelling. Repelling means beggars are not wanted. Beggars are chased away, he says. When you are a beggar, you will be chased away. When you walk in, are you walking in like a beggar or are you walking in like a king? When you walk in like a king, you will be welcomed. When you walk in like a beggar, you will be chased away. You can't be half beggar and half king. Either you are a beggar or you are a king. Beggar puts up the act of the king. Ultimate trouble, ultimate tragedy. That's what ignorance is at the core. The beggar puts up an act of being the king. Emotions have these various shades. Emotions has these various shades to it. It has something good, it has lot of disturbing factors in it, and it has something good also to it. Creates the need for the others. Emotions is an aspect of duality. Philosophically, emotions always are dual by nature. Dual by nature means the other presence is a must. It's dualistic by nature. Where there are two, there is fear. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Where there is two, there will be fear. That's why, philosophically speaking also, if you see, all the bhakti traditions will be dualistic by nature. For emotions necessarily need the other. It's dualistic. It's dual. Dual means you and the other. And the other can be anything. Maybe a human being, it may be an animal, it can be a toy, it can be a stone, or it can be a god. It doesn't matter. But necessarily it needs the other, and it will follow all that you do to the other. That's why all that you do to a human child, you do to God, no? Why? The need of the emotions brings in the need of the other. You follow? Now from the philosophical angle, the need of the other. Why you need the other? Why you need the other? The need of the other comes from a deep lack of self-sufficiency. Again I repeat. The need for the other comes from a lack of self-sufficiency. You are self-sufficient within. Remember that verse? Satisfied in the self, by the self, of the self. I don't know what all he said, no? Self, no, no, bottom. Mustinger and say, Philippi, why are you? Coming back to that. You follow? The need for the other brings about the need for the other itself brought out because of a lack of self-sufficiency. When you are self-sufficient, you will serve the other. You will be grateful to the other, but not in need of the other. There is a difference. Serving the other versus need of the other. When you are in need, you can't serve. When you are in need of the other, you can never serve. Even if you have to serve someone, you have to become that much self-sufficient. You follow? That's why, even philosophically speaking, in the bhakti tradition, it is always the presence of the other is a must. So what they do, they replace a human being with a deity. A human being is replaced with the God. And one way you can pour, and one way you can't pour. So after a while, the mind itself will divide into two. One way you can't pour. So what the mind does, the mind itself will divide into two, and what will happen? You will ask the question, and the deity will answer. You will ask a question to God, and the God will answer your question back, and only you can see it. Only you can see it, and no one else is seeing it. Nala is a proof of hallucination. Correct. Supposing there are 25 people here. Someone gets up and says, only I am able to see you sitting and talking, sir. Others are not able to see, no? What does it mean? You follow what I am saying? It is hallucination. For the mind which is in need of the other splits itself into two and creates the other. That's how it creates the other and starts relating to the other. It starts having a conversation, it starts doing everything. After a period of time, if someone were to come and say, it doesn't exist now, you cannot accept. You will not be able to accept. You follow? Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, you can never get a devotee like Ramakrishna. As he is walking on the road, if anyone says Jai Kalina, he will go into a trance and start having a conversation with Kali. You know, children used to play pranks with him like that. Not story, a reality this is. It happened. Totapuri, the Guru came. Where do you get a man like that? You can't get a man like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. The Guru, Totapuri, came. And he said, Ramakrishna fell at his feet and said, minus of you, I have no salvation. Please help me. Yes, if you want liberation, you have to kill Kali. You have to kill Kali. How can you kill Kali? How can he kill? We can kill Kali because she doesn't make any sense to us. We feel like killing her only. Yeah, because she is not doing anything to us. No. Ramakrishna is different. It's different. So no way. You can't even imagine that man's state. Totapuri said, I'll help you. I'll say Jai Kali. See, if a split personality says Jai Kali Nala, Ramakrishna goes into a trance. If an integrated man like Totapuri says Jai Kalina, what will happen? Maybe 10 Kalis he will start saying. He says, I say Jai Kali and she will come. What you have to do? I will give you a warning sign. The warning sign is glass piece. With the glass piece, I will make a cut on your forehead. That's the sign I am giving you. At that time, take the sword and sever her head. Ramakrishna said, okay. Drama started. He said, Jai Kali. He went into a trance. He cut. Ramakrishna came out crying. I couldn't do that. I can't do that. Totapuri said, why? She is smiling at me. She is laughing and smiling and talking. Brick by brick by brick I have built up on this emotion. It's not all of a sudden this. It doesn't happen all of a sudden like that. It takes many janmas to build up all this. And you just come and say, cut it na? How is it possible? Totapuri said, okay, I am leaving. I don't have Sunday class mari vara varanla eternity alla mundu irukka mudiyadhu. I have no time like that. I am leaving. He said, no, I'm very. And Ramakrishna knew that he can't get another. In your life you can get only one master. If you are getting many masters, you are floating around on earth. You can get only one master in your life. And he knew that he can't get another. He can't get another master in his life. He knew that. So he said, don't go, please. He said, okay, one more chance. Again. Jai Kali. He went into the trance. Again he took the glass piece and cut his forehead. He came out. Sorry, I made a mistake. What? Where will I get the sword from? Where will I get the sword from? Your Kali only has sword. No. Take take her sword and cut her. How cruel it is. First of all, unnecessarily you give her a form, make her do all that, and you give her a sword and take her own sword and sever her head. Totapuri said, this is the last time I am doing it. If you are not cooperating, I leave. And he meant it, and Ramakrishna also knew it. No chance. What to do? Take when he made the third cut on his forehead, carefully follow. Some of the original pictures of Ram, all the paintings only you see. Whenever you get to see some of the original pictures of Ramakrishna much later, you can see some marks on his forehead. Is the marks made by? It's a glass piece cut made by? So he is a third time he cut. Ramakrishna took the sword and severed her head. The duality is gone. The duality goes. For emotions keeps duality. It's dual. Dual means the other is a must. The other is a need. And if you can't find any other, the mind will divide itself into two. You follow? Long back I have given that example of the Jewish scientist who escaped from the Holocaust and writes about his experience. He was caught during that Holocaust time. He was caught and was in solitary confinement. Solitary confinement, you understand, no? You go in, you will come out. Either you will die or you will come out mad. Solitary confinement. He was mad. About to become mad. What happened? First few days he was able to track time. After that he completely lost track of the day, the time and everything, because it's all pitch dark throughout. After a period of time he lost track. He doesn't know. He didn't know whether it is Monday or Tuesday or what day, what time, nothing he knew. After a period of time, in his cell, it's a 20 feet wall height. Top of it there was a small gap, and the lizard used to come through that. Hole. And he was so happy, he writes, I was so happy looking at the lizard, because under normal circumstances I can't stand the sight of a lizard. We all have lizards at home, no? Can you stand that sight? You do something to chase it away, no? That man. By and by, I started waiting for the lizard to come. After a while, I started talking to the lizard. Finally, one day the lizard started talking back to me, he says. I started asking questions to the lizard, and the lizard started answering my questions. He says, from that day onwards, I used to keep this as the test of my sanity. I will talk to the lizard, and if the lizard answers my question, I have lost it. You follow? Because he understood who's asking the question. He is asking the question. Who's answering that question? At least that much you understand, no? No, sir. God is speaking through lizard. No, nothing can be done after that. No, you are such a great freedom fighter. God, in the form of lizard, came and started talking. No, don't worry. You follow? The test of sanity. Mind will split itself into two. when splitting starts, it doesn't stop with 2. It will go on creating more and more and more. It's self-multiplying. It is self-multiplying. Self-multiplying. What is the starting point of all that? What is the starting point of all that? The need for the other. The need for the other is because of the lack of self-sufficiency. You follow? Down the line, everything happens. This is what emotions are. Generally, I give very broad indicators of how emotions function, how they manifest, and finally the need, the source. The need of the moment you are in need, you have become the slave to the other. It doesn't matter what the other is, you have become a slave. And slave cannot ask for what the slave cannot ask for. Slave can only beg, give me some free time. Slave can only beg. What the slave cannot do? He can't ask for. Slave must ask for freedom. Instead of that, he will ask for. Instead of logically speaking, what should the slave ask? He should ask for freedom. Except that, he will ask for everything else. Originally, when the freedom struggle started, they were not asking for full freedom. They said, you rule us, but give us some space. No, don't choke us like that. Give some. Tilak came up and said, freedom means full. Then it is not freedom. Yeah, that is where the freedom struggle is from slavery to partial freedom to Purna Swatantra. They say, no. Freedom struggle started like that. Only in the early 1900s, they started asking for Purna Swarajya, Purna Swatantra, complete freedom. A slave should ask what? Freedom, not in parts, not in quarters, not in house. He should ask for a complete freedom. Emotions will never make you free. Take it or leave it. Emotions will keep you in slavery. Because fundamentally the emotions arise from the need of the other. Are you able to follow? That's why it's dual. That's why philosophy says it's dualistic by nature, and Brihadaranyaka says where there is two, there will be fear. They are not saying get rid of the emotions, be dry of emotions. The way that you are living life, very soon you are getting dried up. Not that the knowledge is drying you up of emotions. The unintelligent expressions is that which dries you up. Knowledge doesn't dry up. All that the knowledge says is what? Maintain the elbow room, correct. Elbow room. Maintain that elbow room. And very difficult is to maintain that elbow room. Either I will be too close or I will say, get lost. You go your way, I go my way. You follow? With this background of emotions, we will understand the emotional appeal for action. Next week. Seriya? Entonces,